to another review on the channel. I'm Batman.
Do I
Okay,
know how I got these scars, Will?
so even though we're a little bit early, just in time for its 15-year anniversary, we're going to review not only one of the not only one of the best movies to come out of this year or of its year, but one of the greatest comic book movies ever made, The Dark Knight.
What
I
can you even say? I mean,
Yeah, what can we say that hasn't been said already about this movie? Other than that, it's flat out fantastic.
had
yeah.
no idea this was the anniversary. I didn't know until this moment.
This year is 15 years since it came out.
Holy shit.
Sadly, a great actor was taken from us.
Heath Ledger, who gave us quite possibly, and no disrespect to Joaquin Phoenix, but quite possibly the best Joker portrayal we've ever seen in a movie.
And
Or
he's got-
Cesar Romero,
Or C. Romero, or Jack Nicholson,
or Mark Hamill.
or Mark Hamill. Yep.
our
That's a
Mark
lot of
Hamill-
that. That's a lot of Jokers.
There's a lot of
so- okay,
Jokers.
Honorable mentions. Honorable mentions.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think a lot of people could agree. This was something I noticed. How there's not that much scenes with action involving Batman, and that they focus more on the political talk, which I actually thought wasn't that bad of an idea.
Yeah. I mean, it also showed that. I mean, also you have to remember at the time, comic book movies weren't taken very seriously, and this was kind of what got the ball rolling for like a lot of. You could argue it got.
got the ball rolling again.
Yeah.
Tim Burton managed to get the ball rolling initially with Batman and Batman Returns, but the executives were like, "Nah, this is getting too dark. We need to make this more children oriented."
Well, to be fair, like a lot of children do read the comics.
Yeah, and there was also Superman.
Well, the point is, it also kind of paved the way for a lot of comic book movies afterwards to be more serious.
Yep.
Maybe a little
It-
too serious.
Mhm.
Maybe a little too serious. Like,
Yeah, at times I could see that with like Batman v Superman. Stuff.
DC Extended Universe was just trying too hard. In fact, a lot of the DC movies that came out afterwards were just trying too hard to be dark with an
Yeah,
angsty.
I know you never liked those, Patrick.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's alright, man. Yeah, it's important to voice opinions.
I thought one of the things that really stood out was how far each character was willing to go to, like, like how can I say this?
I think I know how to say this, Will. Do you mind
Yeah,
if
go
I?
ahead.
Okay, so one thing that was also going on, at least in real life politics, was we were in the George Bush administration, which a lot of commentary around that was or a lot of like not commentary controversy, sorry, was focused around how it was I'm now I've lost the words. I'm sorry.
No, like what I was trying to say is like how far is each person willing to go? Because people still see Batman as a threat, and that they should contain him, and how he's too dangerous to be kept out. While guys like Harvey Dent, they're supposed to be the first legitimate hope that Gotham has ever had.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say? I know you came in kind of late.
Yeah, I have seen this movie before, but it was like apparently 15 years ago because I saw it when I was like 12 or 13. But I have heard lots of commentaries on this movie based on like costume design and how the costumes change as the movie progresses, and like how like you can see based on how the actors were dressed, like what their future or how like their morals are, or their sense of values and like words like trying to see like how their costumes change as the movie progresses to indicate how their morals or their values change as the movie progresses, if that makes sense. And you can see the people that start making darker decisions start dressing in darker colors, and their styles are more restrained, or entirely in a different, or like they were restrained and now they're dressing more wild and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I know what you mean. I had to watch this off the DVD since I found one, a copy of it, just in the back room, just back there. So that's
Hmm.
how I watched the movie. And just looking at some of the costumes on the movie box, you've got Harvey Dent in lighter colors before he's Two Face. But once he becomes Two Face, um, he does start dressing darker and stuff.
And his outfit actually split like it does in the comics. I didn't notice it until now.
Yeah,
It's like in perfect shape, and then it's like burnt and tattered on one
yeah,
side.
it's kind of showing
Yep.
the half. Because he's part of him is still good. Like I like to think that there's like still some good in this iteration of Two Face, but there's
Mhm.
still so much dark now.
Yeah. You made a comment near the end about why is he still doing the accent in that like parking
Yeah,
tower?
that is. I think that's like one of the legitimate flaws of the movie is just the
There,
Batman accent.
there was, I don't know if it was this movie or the next one that comes in this series, but there
The
was
Dark
a
Knight Rises.
comment made by the actor that the costume was so tight he couldn't turn his head.
Yes.
So my first thought when you said that was, is it just he's doing the accent because it's literally pushing on his throat, and we all talk a little different when we put pressure on our throats? Like that could be like part of it's literally his voice comes out different when he's wearing the hat, helmet piece
That
thing, because it's literally pushing on his throat.
He
I
does
actually didn't think about that.
I like that
honestly.
train of logic. I just know that like the Michael Keaton Batman also couldn't turn his head, and it was something
Yeah.
that stayed with the character. But it's good. It's good thought, Anna.
Okay.
No, that actually could be a possibility. I think.
It could be, yeah. Yesterday, my students and I were messing around with red clown noses, and I noticed I sounded a little more nasally when I had the nose on.
Yeah. So
So it's a similar thing.
So if you hadn't seen this movie, which you probably should, but if you rewatch it, you probably would notice how they actually managed to cram a lot into this movie. Granted, it is 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I do feel like there's a lot to admire about this movie.
Oh yeah. I actually pointed this out that the first, what is it, like 5 or so minutes is where it's just the heist.
The bank heist scene, yeah.
Yeah. That could just be its own short film.
It
yeah,
could be, yeah.
Yeah, and you could think it was just another day in Gotham until the reveal that it's the Joker who's orchestrating this, and then the comments can be wondering, oh my gosh, how is Batman going to handle this? They should make this into a full-fledged movie.
Well, I mean, if you
That's the
took Batman
point.
out of this and just said the Joker was just some criminal mastermind, which yes, he is in the comics, but just if you just pretend that this isn't the Batman universe.
Yes, and I'm also like in this movie how Batman will go to some extent, but not to the extent of taking another life.
Yeah, which is true in the comics. Batman has this no kill rule, which I feel like fans either love or hate.
I mean, it's
Right.
to justify keeping the villains alive so they can produce more comics. So
I know that's the kind of the reason, but I've seen some interesting possible excuses. One of my favorites personally is that Batman is just as mentally unstable as the villains, but unlike the villains, he's aware of his mental instability, and that no kill rule is there to keep him in check.
Well,
I heard this.
It's just a dumb excuse, but I like it. I like it.
Sorry, Patrick, what were you gonna say?
I'm sorry. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt. I read one comment on Tumblr suggesting that Bruce actually has PTSD and that death is triggering for him. So he doesn't really. So he's just. So it's a response as a result of his trauma. He just can't stand the concept of death.
That's another possibility too. I like that one too.
Mine was more simple. I thought it was more like he couldn't kill because then it would just make him as bad as the guy who killed his parents.
There was this one fan fiction that one of my online friends wrote, and one of the lines when Batman's asked about his no kill rule, which is admittedly a joke, before he gave the reason that you gave, Will, was too much paperwork.
That's pretty good.
But this scene also has a great deal of set design and cinematography. Most of the movie was filmed in Chicago.
Yeah, do you want to share your story?
Sure. So I actually took a trip to Chicago, and I managed to find this, which is the same scene where they filmed a chase scene involving Batman and the Joker. And I couldn't help but resist taking a video and sending it to Jessup. But just made me feel a little bit nostalgic, and that was pretty much the main reason I wanted to do the Dark Knight for
Yeah.
my review.
And the
Yeah.
fact that the anniversary was just around the corner was not one of those reasons.
Yeah. Okay, yes, that too.
Uh, a little bit. I feel so bad because Anna, you kind of had to come in a little late. You were
It's fine. I was reading the synopsis. So I was like, let me just refamiliarize myself with the
yeah.
first
It
half of
was
the
kind
movie.
of my fault too. We're all in different time zones. And I just got the clocks confused.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's fine, Jess. We were all able to do it. It could have been worse. We could have been doing this at around midnight in my
Oh,
time.
jeez. We'd be up at like 4 a.m. Doing this.
We'd be or
Let's agree never to actually do that.
No,
No.
let's never do that.
No, I was at work for 13 hours yesterday. The early start killed me today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do we have any final thoughts or?
I'm done. I mean, like we said, like there's so much that's been said about this movie already that has already been said. Like,
The only one who's were able to, the one person, Jessup, as he said, who never truly lost their way to achieve their goal was Batman. I mean, Harvey lived long enough to see himself become the villain, and Commissioner Gordon, an honest cop, was forced to frame someone for all the horrible stuff that's happened. Batman still held on to his values. Gordon was forced to sacrifice his values to save the city.
yeah, that's true. But over the years, I've kind of that opinion has kind of changed for me. Just on repeat viewings of the movie. I know I've said that when around the time you and I first met, but I think that's changed. I actually think Gordon's now the one who's kind of stays altruistic. Well, I mean, Batman does use that sonar technology at the end during the climax.
But he
Right.
gives, or
He does give it up, but Lucius Fox says it is still unethical.
Yes.
you're right. You mentioned that it was unethical a few years ago too, I think.
Yeah. Actually, and I think what solidified, there's another YouTuber I watch, who's like an actual lawyer, and he covered like all the crimes Batman and Joker do throughout this movie. And that's what he said was that sonar thing would put Batman away much longer than all the Joker's crimes put together. Which made me realize how dangerous that is. And that goes into the commentary I kind of hinted at earlier with this movie, where around the time we did see like just some extreme lengths to bring down the terrorists responsible for 9/11.
So did he say how many years Batman would go away?
It was like several life sentences, like several million.
Several million?
I forget the exact number, but I saw this like a couple of years ago.
Oh,
You gotta look that video up at some point.
Yeah, the YouTuber is called Legal Eagle. We're not sponsored by him. But,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
So
this video
yeah,
is not sponsored by Legal Eagle. Please do not sue us.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a great movie. This actually is one of my favorite movies of all
Mhm.
time.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
it's up
darker
there,
than
yeah.
I
I
very back
generally
then.
don't watch a lot of this type, but I do really like this movie.
Like great action, great set design and cinematography, fantastic makeup, especially on the Joker.
Oh yeah.
A great soundtrack by Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Has he ever made a bad soundtrack?
I can't think of a bad one he's done.
No, Hans Zimmer can
So
do no wrong.
it's just a soundtrack by Hans Zimmer
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it is at his regular level.
Very fair, very fair.
Yeah.
So we actually have something pretty good planned for you guys for the channel.
Next time. Yeah.
For next time, I'm gonna try to make something to make some arrangements. It'll be a surprise. So until next time, we will see you for the next review.